Alrighty, well, Lacey, we're gonna get started here in just a second.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. Can you just help me out? Yeah, yeah. Yeah, right. Yeah, yeah. And so normally, like you can usually get into that Canva and do it yourself. You can even like go into Canva and make a whole new email signature if you want to. Drop your photo in there, and if it's ever difficult, you can always consult with Scott Leroy, and they usually can help you out with that. They've done it for me for a couple people before, so I think if you need an extra hand, or maybe you just don't have quite the time to commit to it, all good. So what we'll do today, ladies, is we're gonna jump right into essentially KWB Keys to Success. We used to call it orientation. This is we're going to talk more about KWB resources, and that way you guys know where to find a lot of your tools. Whatever you recommend in the last talk, you've been through at night, something you might not have known about yet. We'll just go through that together today. What I always say well online is you guys should stop me at any point and ask questions, and I will gladly answer because I always find it really hard to keep my questions straight by the end. And if you guys would like to, fine too. I'm happy to go over whatever with you. So just shout out online if you need to, and neighbor in the room. We'll go ahead and get started. So that way, it's Friday. I'll be on time. So for the morning. So what we'll
There's a bad connection when you're talking. The phone
okay.
is it sounds like you're underwater. I haven't heard
Oh,
anything you said.
okay. Hold on.
It's like it's real mumbled.
Is this one a little bit better?
Yeah, that's
Oh,
clearer.
okay. Because I think maybe it's because those batteries might be on their last leg. So hopefully you can hear me a little bit better.
Okay, yeah, that's
I'll
much
use my
better.
handheld mic today. I'll look a little more fancy. If at any point it gets challenging to hear me again, just feel free to shout out and I'll do my best to make sure that you can hear me better. Okay.
Okay, thank
Awesome. All right, guys. So we'll go ahead and dive in. So, first and foremost, we are at kwbresources.com. Several of us already learned about this when we met with me to finalize your onboarding. So, for those of you who are on in person and you've got your laptops in front of you, you might want to, and I don't say this as like I'm encouraging it. I'll say you can follow along and kind of walk yourself through it if that's helpful to you. If not, I would just recommend watching the screen as we go through together, whatever makes your life easier and helps it to stick. But while we're looking at KW resources, the first thing I always share is this new agent button. By clicking on new agent button, it's really just going to highlight a lot of the more immediately relevant information for you guys as you get started. So on the first button we'll click with in this tab is going to be this learn more button underneath getting started. When we select that, it's actually just going to give you a little checklist that kind of highlights the onboarding process for you here. And so when we're looking at this, it's reminding you everything that you're going to be asked for as part of the onboarding process, who you can expect to hear from, when you can expect to hear from them. And then most importantly, since most of us, actually all of us in this room have completed our onboarding, yay, pat yourselves on the back, ladies. Now that we've gone through the onboarding process, there are just some things that we can start doing immediately, several of which you guys are already actively doing. One we'll do today, and that's going to go through that office website together. Also, checking out our office calendar. I know you guys know where to find that, but we'll recap today. Joining Ignite, if you have not already done that, a great training opportunity. I know both of you in person have done so. And then, Valicia, if you would like, if I haven't already, I have Ignite After Dark information. If you need that, I can share it with you. And then joining Facebook pages and attending office meetings. So we'll talk about some of those Facebook pages in case you're not already part of them. And when it comes to those office meetings, you guys are clearly right on track attending some of those meetings right now. So we are in a good spot, ladies. And I'm going to take us right back to that new agent tab. When we're back in that new agent tab on the right hand side, there is another learn more button that we'll select today under basic training. And what that does is it's going to take you to Scott Leroy Marketing's website. So when we're on Scott Leroy Marketing's website, these are the individuals, as we were talking about earlier, that help to create all of your KW technology and get you guys started. But the really great thing about Scott Leroy is that their help doesn't stop right after you've gotten started. They are still a resource that you are welcome to reach out to and utilize at any point through our partnership with them. The three things, there's usually three that I'll talk about specifically on their website because we could definitely spend ample time just exploring this site alone. own, and you're welcome to do that in your free time. But to get started today, the first thing I always share, and it's just a matter of what we're looking at right now, is this wonderful search bar right here on the right hand side. You guys can truly search any keywords, anything related to that Scott Leroy offers. It generates right away, and it makes it really easy to find different things on their website, especially if you don't know where to really start. One of the things I always mention when we're looking at that search field, though, is the QR code generation. So if you guys are familiar with QR codes, but you've never ever made one for yourself, but you know that that's kind of something that's trending right now, lots of people do that for convenience. You want to include one on your flyer that you're taking to your open house, you can absolutely do that, and Scott Leroy can help you. All you do is search QR code right there in that search field. A generator form will populate. Essentially, all it is asking you for your information so they know where to email that info to. They're also going to ask you what website you'd like to connect this QR code to, and that will make sure that everything is working properly. They'll send all that info back to you in an email. I usually get one back from them within an hour. So in the event that you guys need a QR code, don't know how to make one just yet, that is a really, really great way to accomplish that. Yes, ma'am. So it doesn't. It usually is just a QR code. There are some other generator sites that you guys may find on your own that allow you to include that logo. You also could ask, I'm not sure if there's like a little note section off the top of my head. You might be able to put in a section that asks, like, could you put the Keller Williams logo in the center? But I know there are some other free generators out there that you may be able to explore and include that in there. When we're going back to the website, so now that we've talked a little bit about that search bar, and it's not limited just to QR codes, it does just about anything you need it to. I always like to also point out at the top of Scott Leroy Marketing's webpage, under Agent Resources, you'll notice that this is a button at the top of the page. By selecting that button, it is going to ask us to go ahead and include our Market Center number, just to go ahead and remind them, yes, we are partnered with the right Market Center. So yes, we are partners. We can access those resources. And our number is going to, whoa, our number is going to be maybe not. 300. There we go. Okay. Our number is 350. You've seen that number repeatedly now, and we'll continue to recognize it throughout your time here. But by typing in 350, this will open up now. You're going to notice that this Agent Resources button is now a drop down menu. So now you guys have those resources available to you through our partnership. And one I always point out is this training piece right here. If you guys roll over to training calendar, Scott Leroy Marketing actually offers live trainings Monday through Friday from 1 to 2 o'clock, all surrounding your KW technology. If you guys scroll a little bit further down, you can see their calendar here. You can actually see the specific topic they'll be discussing on any given date. And if you're interested in joining in that conversation, all you have to do is click on that Zoom link to hop on that call live. I like to point this out to you guys because there's actually two reasons. Some of us obviously have more complex schedules. Maybe the Tuesday, Thursday opportunities that are offered in this office through Jules and Leah are not the best fit for us. I don't want that to make you feel like you are completely limited or that you are struggling to get through that technology, because Scott Leroy does offer those Monday, Wednesday, Friday classes as well that you may be able to take advantage of. The other reason I like to point it out is because Jules and Leah are really good about rotating the topics that they're sharing, just as Scott Leroy is. So if there's ever a time that you're looking specifically to create like a Facebook ad, for example, and you're like, oh shoot, they talked about that last week and I missed it, they're not going to talk about it again for like another 3, always double check this calendar as well, because they very well may be speaking on that topic just a couple days later, and it could work a little bit more timely for you. So keep aware that this is another opportunity to get a lot of hands-on tech training. They're going to share their screen with you and show you how to utilize it and take full advantage of those resources. So know that this is here as a supplement to the tech training that's offered in this office. The next piece I will share with you guys is actually going to be under store here. If you just click on store, it's going to take you to agentstore.com. The reason I share agentstore.com, as you may see, is this is a great resource for you guys to order your business cards. That tends to be one of the earlier questions I get from a lot of new agents is, are those provided? How does that work? The unfortunate answer is they're not provided to you through the Market Center. And we do have a wonderful partnership through Agent Store as a part of our partnership with Scott Leroy that allows you guys to order some business cards through their site at a really, really great price point. So the cool thing too is that for some of us, creativity might not necessarily be our strong suit. We're just looking for something to do the job, right? If that's true for you, you don't want to overthink it. You just want something that you can use as soon as possible. Scott Leroy's or Agent Store, I should say, they offer about 32, I think was my last count, 32 different Keller Williams templates already out there. All you have to do is select the template that you'd like to use. Then you can actually just go ahead and over top of those specific fields, type in your personal information. But there's tons that's already incorporated on that card. And it just kind of saves you guys the like, okay, where do I go to find that? Where do I grab this? And then the whole design process is really just fast forwarded for you. So again, you are not necessarily limited to Agent Store. You may certainly go through Vistaprint or Canva or some other site to create something truly unique to you and your brand. But if you are looking for something simple just to get the job done, this is a great, great resource. And I know, again, obviously as time goes on inflation changes, but for me 3 years ago when I ordered my cards, I ordered through Agent Store and I got 500 for $39. So it's a pretty good price point, hard to beat, and definitely one I would encourage you to explore. The other important piece of this conversation as well is for those of us who are still provisional broker status, which is fairly standard as our new agents. If you are provisional broker status, you guys do have certain requirements of what needs to be on that business card and what truly cannot be on that business card. So the good news is that the templates through agentstore.com are pretty much right on par with what you're looking for. I think it's very rare that there's any additional adjustments that need to be made to that design. And you guys still will be required as provisional brokers to go and get this business card design approved by Tasha Viney. She's our BIC associate, and we'll come across her contact information later on in this conversation today. But she is going to be the one you want to reach out to and just say, hey, here's what I'm working on to create a business card. Does everything look good, or do I need to make any changes? Because the biggest thing is I would hate for anybody to order something that they were told they couldn't use after paying for it. So consult with Tasha. She can give you the green light and let you know it is safe to order that design. You can place your order and begin networking. That is going to be under the store option when we were on Scott Leroy's website. Now that we are back to our website under the new agent tab, we are going to scroll down and you'll see a list of great Facebook pages to join. This first one here is one that I always email to you guys upon onboarding, and that is going to help connect you to our group or private group Facebook page for just the agents in this office and our leadership team. So this private group is going to have tons of conversation constantly going on. Agents asking questions, agents maybe saying, hey, I'm looking for this style property, couldn't find anything in MLS that matched. Does anyone have something coming soon? So you'll get to see some of that collaboration firsthand just through our Facebook group of how our agents are stepping up to help each other just because they already have information that's beneficial. The other thing you'll notice on this Facebook page is that I am always on there making sure you guys are well aware of the upcoming trainings and opportunities. So you guys will not be kept out of the loop on anything, and you'll be able to jump into any room you are excited to be in. So that's a great Facebook page to join. Again, this gives you an opportunity to ask other agents for assistance if maybe you're working with somebody that needs a referral partner somewhere you've not made a connection. You can ask if there's a great suggestion. You'll see that actually on the page already. The other really cool thing for us as new agents is that when you guys are getting started, we want to get that foot in the door, but sometimes it's hard to find those opportunities. Agents are always on there posting about open houses that they need hosts for. They're talking about asking for showing assistance. So there's lots of ways that you guys can jump right into that conversation thread and put your name out there too. Below that, we do come across our Strategic Alliance Partners page. This is going to be another private Facebook group. Again, it's our agents. It's also our leadership team. And this one will also include our vendor partners. So here at Keller Williams Ballantine, we do have a vendor program. Everybody that is part of our vendor program has been vetted by other Keller Williams agents in this office. So you know that you're working with somebody that offers a great product or service that's going to benefit you and your clients. So keep that in mind, especially as we're getting started started. I know that that's usually a little intimidating because as a new agent, we might not necessarily know somebody in every industry to call upon. So to make you guys feel a little bit more comfortable going into things, we do have an arsenal basically of great vendors already available to you that you can reach out to very easily. And we'll talk a little bit more about the vendors as we move forward today. But that is a Facebook page that makes it very easy to jump in and find some of those vendors. They're constantly sharing the upcoming promotions that they're doing, new services they're offering, and it helps you to stay in the loop on those opportunities as well. Below that, we do come across two other Facebook pages that you are welcome to still join. They are not specific to this office. This one here is the Charlotte Area Realtor Network, so obviously allowing you to connect with other real estate agents in the Charlotte area. And then just below, we also have KW Carolinas region. So as part of Keller Williams Ballantyne, you guys are also part of the Keller Williams Carolinas region. And our region actually is culminated of all the market centers between North and South Carolina. So this is a great way for you guys not only to jump into some additional training opportunities that are being offered on a regional level, some of which take you to the beach, by the way. That's never a bad time. So that is a great opportunity. And with KW Carolinas, they're also having some great conversation on there as well. It's a great way for you guys to meet other agents that you know are with Keller Williams. So if that's one of your criteria for deciding who to refer to, if you want to only work with another KW agent, that's a great way to find a ton of them just across the Carolinas. As we scroll a little bit further, we come across our Kellerisms. If you were to click right where it says Kellerisms, this will open into a secondary handout, kind of like we first saw. And with that Kellerisms sheet, what it's going to do is it's going to break down the language that you're hearing at Keller Williams. So sometimes it's really easy to identify some of that terminology that we use in our culture. Like, okay, I think at this point we know mostly what capping means or what cap status is. But when you get to some of the other terms like 145, it's pretty hard to figure out what that means just by the name alone. So if you're trying to decipher some of the language you're hearing thrown around, if you click on Kellerisms, essentially it takes all that terminology and it just turns it into real world terms that you'd actually hear outside of these doors. So if you're looking for basically a playbook in terms of understanding some of those KW specific terms, that's going to be a great handout to refer to. And then just to save time, I won't necessarily go into it today, but you guys know that it's there. Also, please know you can always ask these questions to us in the office. But I understand if it's like 9 o'clock at night and you're reading something, you're like, yeah, no, I'm not going to text or ask anybody. You can refer to this sheet here. When we go a little bit further down again, just kind of centralizing a lot of those new agent specific places, resources, tools, we come across answers.kw.com, which is one that I did mention to you guys when we first onboarded you. So I do not blame you if you forgot about that. It's okay. When we're talking about the KW technology, for almost anybody and everybody to walk through this door, it's brand new for you guys to learn this KW technology. And usually, yes, it is fairly user friendly and easy to work. However, sometimes there still is that additional hurdle of like, okay, well, I don't really know how to do that yet. So if you guys are looking for some additional support that is on demand, whether you're trying to learn how to do something for the first time, or maybe you're trying to troubleshoot something, answers.kw.com is a website. It's a knowledge base that you can refer to. And you guys can search keywords, articles will come up, and then you're able to read through those articles to figure out what's next for you, and then you can replicate on your end. I know that that's not always everyone's favorite for their learning style, so we'll talk about some other options to learn and navigate that tech on demand as we go along. The second thing that I mentioned when we're talking about answers.kw.com is there is technically a sister site to this called ideas.kw.com. And what that is, it's actually labs who created Command, and it's allowing you guys to drop in suggestions, feedback, things like that as you're working through Command. So that way, if there's anything that you're like, this is a great feature, but if it was available on this screen as well, that would be a game changer. They want to hear that feedback from you guys. They want to know what they should be incorporating to make sure that Command is not only user friendly, but also that it's going to be an efficient tool that actually allows you guys to maximize your efforts in your business. So keep in mind, answers.kw.com is here to help you through that KW technology. And then we also have ideas.kw.com for feedback and suggestions on Command that you very well may see rolled out in an upcoming update. As we go a little bit further, you come across our Ignite materials. Those actually are going to be available to you digitally for free. So I'll make sure, and I just realized now, I don't think I got to send you guys those the other day. So I'm going to make sure you all have a wonderful digital copy of the Ignite materials. I apologize, but I'll make sure you guys all have that in front of you very easily here. As we go along, we are coming across our training calendar. Something I always mention, and I did forget today, is that there are multiple ways for you guys to access the same information on this website. So you'll see something is reiterated across this website in different places 2 or 3 times. So while we're doing this site today together and kind of navigating through, I try to share the most convenient ways to get to the information. This to me feels like a lot of scrolling, lots of clicking. I don't want to show you this way because that's hard to remember. I'll show you a much easier way to get to that office calendar as we move forward. But below, you will see that we do have the opportunity to schedule a conference room. So, for those of you who did not know but may have noticed, we have several different conference rooms available in this office. We actually have 5 of them. And we have 2 focus rooms. So our conference rooms vary in the capacity they hold. Four, I think we have 2 4-person, we have 1 6, and 2 8. So you guys are always able to take advantage of those resources. If ever you are looking for a private space to work, our focus rooms are going to be a great fit for you because it allows you an independent workspace with some privacy because you can shut that door. So for those of us who like to cold call, or maybe we just want to like private space because we get distracted easily, I'm that way. So I don't have any judgment for anybody wanting to use those rooms. But you guys can take advantage of those focus rooms for that quiet, independent workspace. We also have those 5 conference rooms available for more collaborative efforts, and we ask that they stay for those collaborative efforts. So if you are meeting with another agent, if you are meeting with a coach for a consultation, or if you're meeting with clients to have conversations about what they're looking to do with their personal investments, you guys can take advantage of the conference rooms. They are a free resource for you, and you can use them for up to 2 hours at a time during the day. So it's really easy. All you would do is hit that register button. It will take you to a secondary site called sketa.com. It allows you to make a quick login. And then once you've made that login, you actually can go in. You'll be able to see in that spreadsheet at the top of the spreadsheet, it's telling you every single conference room we have by name. And it's also telling you the capacity that they hold. So you'll know right away if it's the appropriate room for you to use. And then down the left hand side, it's all the times throughout the day. And you'll notice that there are already reservations in place when you go to make yours. All you have to do is drag and drop to include yours in those gaps and find a space that'll work really well for you. But it is, again, free for you guys to use 2 hours at a time, we ask, just so that they are on rotation for other agents. And if you guys ever experience any difficulty doing that process, please reach out to me because I am an admin on that page, so I can absolutely help you guys on the backside. So just keep me in mind. I'm happy to do that for you. The actual, because we're looking at it now, the most convenient way for you guys to access our conference room booking site is going to be going up here and hovering over our More tab. You'll see right here it says schedule a conference room. This will take you to the same place as all what we're looking at right now. It's just a lot less complicated. So now that we've kind of gotten a quick overview of all of this information for our new agents, we are going to jump back to the homepage just to share a little bit more with you. Many of you have met all the members of our wonderful leadership team. You'll see that Miss Robin is right here. She's our new team leader. She actually just passed through here a moment ago. But Robin is going to be our new team leader. So she might be the newest face, I think, for a lot of us. But this is going to showcase everybody that is on the leadership team, i.e., the Market Center staff. So if you guys have questions about anything, you are welcome to reach out to us because we are here to support you in your business. You'll see that we've got our roles included as well as our emails. So if you need to reach out, it's very easily done. What I will always tell you guys, just as I did when I onboarded you, is if there's ever a question that you have and you're not sure who to ask for the answer, you guys can always come back to me and I will make sure you're connecting you with the right person. So we'll go a little bit further down. And I hate that it's like, do you see that? That just bothers me that it's doing this little zigzag. And I know that you guys might not have said anything, but I can't like scroll past it and act like it's not there. What's so frustrating about that is that on Wix.com, like when I'm doing this, it's based off of your monitor size. So on my computer, when I'm making this, it looks great. It looks crystal clear, nice and clean. And then I come in here and I look like I am blind. So sorry. I promise on my computer it looks great. Maybe it'll look good on yours too. But here it's not really doing me much justice. As we go a little bit further down, we also have a section called Get Paid with KW Command. This is a unique section. Actually, what's here is 2 YouTube videos that Leah created. She's one of our tech coordinators. Leah's created 2 videos regarding your KW Command and DocuSign. And essentially, what she's done is she's pinned them here permanently for you guys because they're that helpful, especially when you're getting started. So, actually, the bottom video here is going to explain KW Command and how it connects with DocuSign. So, if you guys have not gone into DocuSign yet and then put in your NERDS number, and if you're like, what? That means that you have one more step to do to get that all cleared up and straightened out. And really, what that means is what it's going to allow is your forms to populate right away. If you go into DocuSign, you're like, there are no forms in here. It's probably because you need that NERDS number. But that can be a little bit difficult, and not because it's really a challenging process, just because you have to go into like the settings gear, then you have to hit a specific part of it, then you have to go into integrations, and it's just like a couple extra steps that you might not know at face value. So Leah's just created an entire video here for you guys to refer to walk you through how to do that process. So you guys can watch it anytime. I think it's 25 minutes total, but she explains completely how DocuSign and Command are talking to each other and how to make sure that yours is set up correctly so that for that first deal, you don't go into DocuSign and like, oh my God, where are my forms? It'll make sure that everything's connected the way it should be. And then secondly, just above that is a newer video, and this one is actually submitting commission requests in KW Command. So for those of us, once we get that first deal and once you go under contract, you actually will go ahead and you are going to submit a commission request through KW Command. And what that does is it notifies Lynn that you've got an upcoming closing, and she knows to expect that transaction. She knows to expect that check to be coming through. So it allows her to make sure that when you guys are ready, she can pay you. So you will want to make sure that you will want to make sure that you are submitting those commission requests, and you'll want to make sure you know how to do those commission requests too. So that is a video that will permanently stay on this page. So whether you guys watch it now and you have a little bit of like precursor information, or you wait until you're a little bit closer to that under contract state for your transaction, then you can refer to the video at that point in time. But I always encourage, as with anything, make the most of the resources you guys are given because you have plenty of opportunity to learn ahead. And I encourage you to always do that, just because, again, this is not a selfish thing. It is actually selfless because I do not personally like being stressed, frantic, anything. I hate that feeling on top of just the things that are out of my control. The things that are in my control, I don't want to feel stressed about that. So I always encourage you guys to learn ahead because it reduces that stress. You feel a lot more comfortable, you present a lot more confidently, and it makes that transaction a lot easier. So as much as you guys can, please take advantage of all the opportunities that you're given to learn and to get some of this under your belt so that when you have that first deal, it is a breeze. But this is going to talk about that commission request piece. We will eventually hit to our office calendar. The easiest way, as a reminder for those of us who do not remember, office calendar at the top here will actually just drag you all the way down. You won't have to do any of that scrolling yourself, but it will highlight our office calendar for you. And what I will share with you of that is actually click here for a full calendar view. I think that's just a much easier way to view what's on this calendar. It opens it up so I can actually really see and appreciate what I'm reading. But this will allow you guys to see what's coming up on the training calendar for this month, next month, however far you'd like to navigate. And you are also able to click on any of those given events to get a full description about the event. So that way, if you're not quite sure what the class entails, you can get a little bit more information right then and there. If there is ever any registration required for in-person attendance, there will always be a registration link included, and you'll see that there in the calendar details. If it is ever a class that you can participate in as a Zoom meeting or a meeting in general you can do through Zoom, the Zoom link is always included in the description as well. So ideally, this will be a one-stop shop for you guys. You can kind of explore what's coming up on the calendar because we do always have some really great stuff going on. But you will be able to explore what's coming up and then make the decision on what you'd like to participate in. You can sign up right then and there or just copy it over to your calendar based off of what you read in that description. The other thing I will mention too is I work very, very closely with this calendar. So if you guys ever have questions on it or what you're seeing, please let me know because I'm happy to help you guys out with that. I would also say with the office calendar, that most often you will find that all of our events are open to all agents. It is very rare that you guys will come across something that's intended for an exclusive or specific audience. So keep in mind that you guys can absolutely jump into anything that's exciting to you personally, professionally, at any point in time. The last thing I'm going to mention is just a reminder, if you are really big on maximizing the capabilities of your Google Suite, you like things to be efficient, organized, all the things, if you go down to this left-hand corner, there is the tiniest blueprint known to man, and it says what is it? Add to Google Calendar. If you click on that, what it'll do is it will copy our entire Office calendar to your Google Suite. So once you guys are in your KW accounts, sometimes it makes it really easy because you can just copy it right there. And then my favorite thing is because this can be very overwhelming, because I know I've got a couple meetings this afternoon, and based off of this, I have no idea when they are unless I do a little bit further digging. You can actually turn off our Office calendar when it stops being helpful, because there will be days where it's not very helpful and it's just blocking you from what you're looking for. So turn it off when it does not make sense to have in front of you. Turn it on when you know you have a free afternoon. You're like, oh my gosh, what's going on in the office? You'll be able to kind of toggle between the two, and it alleviates you guys having to remember to go to KWB resources and then hit that button, go down to the calendar. It just saves a lot of steps usually for you. But that's another recommendation I tend to have for you as a new agent. I'm going to close out of all the fun that I just did. And now we're back to that Office calendar. So we are going to scroll beneath the calendar. And really, what this section here just below is just highlighting some of those upcoming meetings, recurring meetings, especially that fall on our calendar. So you guys know that those will come up again, especially if you ever miss them. But our ALC meetings are actually our Agent Leadership Council. They all get together once a month, and they actually mastermind. They have some powerful conversations, all geared towards their businesses and their business development. They also have some conversations about what's going to happen next for KW Ballantyne. And they also have a say in those decisions for the Market Center and what our future looks like. So the really unique thing about our Agent Leadership Council is that we, as a Market Center, we do not like making any decisions on your behalf without getting your voice on it. So what we do is your Agent Leadership Council, who represents our agent body, they are sitting in on these meetings. So when we do have larger decisions or discussions, at one time years ago, when we've reduced our cap, and then another time we even actually increased our transaction fee, all those conversations that we have amongst leadership that we are ready to roll with, we do not move forward with without consulting our ALC. So the ALC is always there to speak on your behalf with those larger decisions, and they are meeting once a month. You guys are welcome to hop in on those meetings so you can hear those conversations and listen to those masterminds as well. And we just ask that if you are in the room, you allow them to hold the floor, and you guys are more there to observe. But you're welcome to participate in those meetings anytime that you would like to. Our team meetings are a lot more high energy. Those are going to be the second and fourth Tuesday of every month. We have a lot of fun. This room is usually very full if you've not sat in on a team meeting yet. But they are fun. We are going over all things Valentine. We're kind of giving you a heads up for what to expect, talking about tech tips. We're bringing learning pieces to that as well. So really powerful, whether it's, again, business-based or personal development. There's tons of great conversation happening in that room. Another unique thing about our team meetings is that we invite a lot of our vendors to them. And what they will do is they'll sign up for these opportunities where they can actually set up out here in the hub, and they'll all have a little table that they've situated. And that's becoming a vendor fair, as we call it. So what it allows you guys to do, again, if you especially don't have yet relationships with some of these vendors, you guys can step out, you guys can go around, get to meet them, get some of their information, because they're bringing lots of value to you. Sometimes they even bring sweets, just saying. But it's a great opportunity to get connected with some of those vendors and start building relationships with them. And then Tech Tuesdays, we kind of already talked about. That's every single Tuesday from 1:30 to 2, with an additional 30 minutes at the end there. If you guys have any questions, you're welcome to stay behind and ask that. But these are workshop style classes that are run by Jules and Leah, all focused around your KW technology and making sure you guys have a strong foundation, so that, again, you guys are able to build on that and just make your work life a lot easier as you're building this business. So they've got plenty to share with you. There's so much that Command is capable of, as is DocuSign, and they're happy to show you. And these Tech Tuesday classes specifically are always geared more towards our new agents. So know that that conversation will always be great for you as you're starting out. We do eventually come across Sabra and Tasha. So Sabra Romeo is our amazing broker in charge, and Tasha Viney is our phenomenal BIC associate. Sabra, as you will or as you will notice, is not actually in the office very commonly. She actually, her mother is 101, I think, and so she's actually been staying since COVID. She's actually just stayed with her mom as in home care, and her mom is wonderful. She actually came to our potluck this year. It was great. Her mom's amazing. So she's wonderful, and she's always available to you guys through email, phone call. You are welcome to lean into her and ask her questions. She's here to support you guys as new agents. And if you are looking more for like a face-to-face, I have a quick pop-by question, nothing crazy. Tasha Viney, again, equally knowledgeable to Sabra and equally kind. She is in the office 3 days a week, so you guys could even just pop by her office and say like, hey, can I ask a quick question? Tasha's door is always open unless she's on a call, so you'll be able to access her during those times, and her office hours are listed. Both of their email addresses are also included, so if you guys need to reach out, it's very easily done. But they are both here to help you guys succeed in this industry, so do not be a stranger. They are here to help you guys grow. And then we also have renewing your license information. I know we're not near June yet, but at this rate, June's going to be tomorrow. So as we're preparing for renewals, guys, there are several different handouts in here that you can refer to. I think most of us, again, if we just got licensed, that first renewal is super easy. I think all they require is don't hold me to this. I think all they require is like a small fee be paid. And I'm not licensed, so nobody hold me to that. Double check me, please. And as you move forward, when the CE becomes a part of the conversation and things like that, you'll want to make sure that you're staying on top of those requirements. So there's tons of helpful handouts here that you can refer to that kind of walk you through either how to check your own record or just better understanding what's expected in order to renew that license. As we go a little bit further, we come across our ALC. So these are all the wonderful agents that are currently serving on ALC. It also will tell you the committees that they're serving. So several of these committees you guys have probably already heard about, and there's still plenty of conversation to be had if you guys are unfamiliar with some of them. They are representing all different aspects of KW Ballantyne. And just for a quick rundown, we have the Growth Committee with Amber. Amber is actually working to help grow the Market Center. She's also helping you guys to grow your downline. So if you want that passive income, you want people to name you as a sponsor, talk to Amber. She's here to communicate with new agents. And she is here to also kind of guide you guys in the scripts to use and also just opportunities to meet some of these people as well. Irene is going to be focusing on KW Cares and the Culture Committee. So she's more of the charitable arm right now. KW Cares is a phenomenal foundation that's within Keller Williams where we collect donations and we keep them for disaster relief efforts. And that goes across the nation. KW Cares this year or last year, I should say, for Western North Carolina, KW Cares got there with generators before FEMA. So it's pretty crazy what they do. We also have our own KW Cares specific to this market center that we ask our agents to donate to so that we have funds available to also help support you guys in the event of emergencies and things like that. So she's here to help with that. She's also going to be talking to you guys about Red Day here shortly, which is a really, really great give back day. And the entire day is dedicated just to helping your community. So I love that. Lindsay Pegg with Social Committee, we're planning all the parties, all the fun extra. So that's really never a bad conversation to be in. So she's here to have fun with you guys and make Valentine exciting. We've also got Jess Pegg, who's serving on Capper Growth Committee. So she's focusing again on bringing in and growing the market center, but she's focusing specifically on agents that are already in production and have been doing a really great job in the business and would be a capper upon entering. So that focal point's a little bit different and still helpful to grow. Michael Rivera and Richard Schmaltz are both working on career development. They're focusing on the trainings that are being brought in here and making sure the trainings are impactful for you guys at all levels. So they are great to connect with. If you have any interesting feedback to provide or anything that you'd love to see on the calendar, share that with career development. And then lastly, we have financial planning. So Adam's here also talking to you guys about how to make sure that you're growing your wealth and have different conversations about things that even he's learning along the way of things that you can be prioritizing in your business. So all of these conversations are super, super impactful and they are meeting every single month and they would love to talk to you guys. So if you are interested at all in joining one of those committees, all you have to do is reach out to that individual that you saw that's serving as the chair and or co-chair. Reach out to them, let them know that you're interested in sitting down and getting to be part of their committee meetings. They would love to have you join them. And then you can be part of, a smaller community within KW and help big impact in what we're doing here. So keep that in mind. Our ALC are wonderful, wonderful people that would love to get to know you. And then they're all meeting collectively once a month to talk about big decisions for KWB. Now we get a little bit further down. We're talking about those pillars of mentorship that most of us, I believe, have been introduced to at this point in time if you were through your onboarding process. So one of the pillars of mentorship that we always go over is your coach. A productivity coach is here to make sure your business is set up for success because you are a business owner. You are the CEO, you are the president, you are all the things, and they're here to make sure that you know exactly what to do with that power and also that freedom. So they're here to support you guys in growing your business, making sure you're starting off on the right foot. They're also here to make sure you guys kind of know the how of being a real estate agent because school definitely didn't talk about that. They talked about all the legal crap. They didn't tell you anything about what to do tomorrow. So your coach is here to make sure that you guys have really good ideas about what you should be doing in your business to kind of drive that business to produce revenue. And so what they're doing is they're meeting with you once a week. They're getting together with you, a small group of intimate agents. You guys are going over different conversations about lead generation. They want to get to know your goals, help you to set them, hold you accountable to those goals. They're going to go over script practice. They're also going to talk about just what's going on in the market right now, different materials and tools to introduce you to. They're going to be such a great and powerful resource for you in the beginning of your real estate career, I should say. So we are absolutely going to make sure you're introduced to a coach. If you have not yet been introduced to a coach after being onboarded, please reach out to me via email. I'll make sure we get that connection underway. But essentially what we do is we just email you and say when everybody meets every single week, and we ask what the best fit for your schedule is so we know you can take advantage of such a great resource. And if you ever need to make any adjustments because your schedule has changed, compatibility concerns, anything like that, do not be a stranger. Please let us know because we'll work with you to make sure that we are putting you in the right place. We will come across as well our wonderful transaction partners. So that is our second tier, our second pillar of mentorship here. And they're focusing specifically on the contracts and forms that you're working with. So every week when they're meeting with you guys, they've actually broken this down into like a week by week material where they're going over the buy side and the sell side so that you know exactly what to do with all those documents you're working with. And again, it's another resource for you to call upon when you guys have questions in the midst of your transactions. They're here to help support you through. So you guys can also see we've got several different partners who do this particular role. And when I am emailing you guys or when Lynn is emailing you guys about coaches, I'm also simultaneously sending that email about transaction partners, making sure you guys are getting connected with a partner because again, free resource, it cannot hurt to take advantage because they're going to make sure you know exactly what to do when you sit down with those clients to sign those documents. And again, you just let us know what works best for you on based off your schedule. We'll make sure you're connected with that partner. If you ever need to make adjustments, all you have to do is ask, and we'll make sure that that is taken care of. And then lastly, we come across some helpful resources, used websites, all of which is available at the top. So I'm going to cut back to the top here and where you're going to jump over to the FAQ tab. FAQs, and I know this is like, oh my gosh, Liz, you just spent so much of this class on one screen. I promise we go faster as we go. The FAQ tab here, what that is it's just highlighting some frequently asked questions. Essentially, because we understand coming into KW Valentine, you might not know who to ask a specific question to. So this page is entirely dedicated to some general questions that we receive. If you hover over any of those tiles, it will tell you who on leadership handles that particular responsibility, and then subsequently who you can reach out to ask for help with it, ask that question, whatever that may look like. That's who would be responsible and who you can connect with. But again, circling back, if you guys ever realize that like, okay, there's 10 tiles here, my question is certainly not up there because it's a super specific one, that's okay. Let us know. If you're not sure who to ask that question to, again, always come back to me and I'll make sure it gets to the right place. Under on-demand training, this tab up here, if we just click on that, I want to make sure you guys know that this is a password protected tab. So that's why I was like, okay, I was like, make sure everybody's paying attention. This is going to be a password protected tab. For those of us who need the password because we don't already have it, I'm going to point over here to our little Wi-Fi chart. It's going to be almost the exact same thing. If you were to imagine that the exclamation point on that whiteboard was missing, so it was just BAMC350, that's the password we're using on this website. The only thing we're changing is taking away that exclamation point. So I'm going to enter in that password, but under on-demand training, and I'm going to make sure. So again, that password, just in case anyone's online, it's capital B, lowercase AMC 350. I'll say it again one more time when we move to the next tab as well. But when we're in the on demand training section, again, recognizing that you guys all have different schedules and wanting to make sure that there's always something available for you to refer to. On the left hand side of on demand training, if you select that button right there, it's going to take you to our Keller Williams Ballantyne YouTube channel. So, first and foremost, this is not every single thing that we offer. This is going to be more focused around the recurring meetings like Tech Tuesdays, team meetings, different conversations that we're having on a weekly basis or monthly basis. And what that means is that we're uploading these recordings so that if there's updated information that you guys should be aware of and you were not able to sit in on that meeting, you're able to jump in and find that recording here. It makes it a lot easier. Again, if you have a more complex schedule, this might be the way to go for a little while as you're kind of transitioning, is using this as to your advantage and having this information available to you on demand. What I do always say too as part of this, again, not every single training is here. You'll see all the playlists below. That's exactly what trainings you can expect to be here and nothing more than that, if that helps. What I do mention when we're looking at this, we always encourage your live participation in class. It doesn't have to be in person. It can be on that Zoom call, but live participation, and it's not to inconvenience you. It's just to make sure that you're able to ask questions in real time and get answers to them so that you don't walk away like, okay, I watched that whole training and I'm still kind of confused. And now I got to wait till Tuesday to go ask somebody. We want to make sure that you guys have the information you need. So we always ask for in-person or live participation as best we can. And we understand that life happens. You guys are allowed to travel. You guys are allowed to get sick. Things happen. In that event, we don't want you to feel like you've necessarily completely missed the opportunity to get that information. And that's why we publish these recordings here. So that way you can refer back to it at a time that works better for you when you're back in town or feeling better. And then the other thing I will mention as well is I'm usually the one who's uploading here to this account. And I do so on a weekly or bi-weekly basis. So every couple weeks at the latest will things go up on here. There are times that YouTube fights me and says, absolutely not. That violates some policy that we have, which is always funny because it's the policy that they always complain about is cyberbullying. I'd love to know how Jules and Leah are cyberbullying people. And I can't override it. I tried and then they yelled at me more. So, what usually happens in the event that they refuse to take the recording is that I will hold on to it personally and I'll have access to it. It just doesn't get published here. So, if you guys are looking for something specific, you don't see it, email me because I might have it. It just might not have been able to get up there. So, reach out to me if you're looking for something specific that you don't see, but know that this is an available tool to use. And then on the right hand side, we also have command on demand. So that is going to take you, if you click that button there, it will take you to Scott Leroy Marketing's YouTube channel, which is something I shared with you when you first met with me. But again, recognizing every time, I'm so glad it happens to someone else. Normally I'm like trying to mute stuff so it's not like blasting from the ceiling at you. I'm like, oh, I don't know why it didn't go off today, but when you guys get to Scott Leroy Marketing's YouTube channel, though, again, they're covering everything about your KW technology, literally from start to finish in terms of beginning to advance. It's all shared here. And I know that answers.kw helpful knowledge base might not be the best fit for you because it's like, okay, I got to read a whole article and then assume I understand and try to copy it over here. Sometimes it's just nice to be able to see somebody doing these things. So this is going to be your opportunity to get more of a tutorial on how to do those things where you're actually watching it in real time and then able to replicate on your end. So know that they've got a very, very helpful YouTube channel here, all based on your KW tech. And then again, Leah's just reiterated some of those help. See, isn't that crazy? Isn't that crazy? It's wild. I don't know why it doesn't do it to me anymore, but I'm not complaining at the same time because like the one or two times that it did it, because it didn't used to always be that way, I about had a heart attack. I was like, what is that sound? It's just like blasting from the ceilings. Um, so in this next section, again, Leah just reiterated those videos that we saw already to put them somewhere else for your convenience. So those helpful videos about getting everything squared away. And then we've also got some helpful information about Ignite, but most of us know about Ignite. If you don't already, I share a really good email about that same info to you. And then The next tab we're going to take a look at is actually office resources. This one in particular, though, I like to hover over before I click on it because I think that those top three items in that drop down menu are much easier to access from this drop down menu than when you're inside the tab. So the first thing you're going to see is advertising guidelines. So that is going to help you guys to understand those specific requirements of what can and cannot be on your marketing as you move forward. And especially too, once you are done being provisional broker, you've completed your post licensing, your broker status, you do have a lot more freedom than you did as a provisional broker. And you still will want to make sure that you're following the compliance pieces behind everything, making sure you're not putting something you can't put, making sure you're not doing something or missing something that you need to have. So advertising guidelines is going to be a really good like kind of brass tacks of what you can and cannot do with your advertising, and it will just kind of break it down for you. The other thing that you can access when clicking on advertising guidelines is there's an entire little like folder dedicated just to our logo files. So if you need to pull a Keller Williams Valentine logo down, lots of that information lives right in that section as well. We also have concession requests just below that. That's something that you guys probably will not ever need to worry about until your first deal or many deals down the road. Concession requests is really primary example if you guys were able ever going to like cut your own commission a little bit because you decided to pay for your buyer's home warranty as like a nice gesture, you would ask for a concession letter basically just notifying us like, hey, this is what my commission's supposed to be. Is it okay if it's actually you're making a little bit, we're all making a little bit less because I decided to cover their home warranty. And all you have to do to get that concession letter, because it does need to come from the BIC, is fill out that concession request. It's going to take you to a Google form. You can complete the Google form. Essentially, it's just asking you for some preliminary information so that we can just draft that letter for you quickly. The reason we do it that way is Tasha found that over time, she was like, I get like half the information, then I got to ask questions, and they give me a little bit more. I got to ask more questions. She said, but with this Google form, it streamlines it because we ask all those questions up front, get all the info we need, and then she can issue that letter right over to you. So it wastes less time and you guys have that in hand faster. Do not call list below that. That is one we're almost always familiar with out of school. We know that when we are calling people, especially for lead gen, that there are people who've asked specifically not to be called. And it's important that we know not to call them and who not to call because otherwise you guys can be on the hook for thousands in fines, unfortunately. And also you can be on the hook for court time simultaneously. Like it's a double whammy. It's no fun at all. With that being said, we want to make sure, of course, that you know exactly who is on that list and not to contact them. So by clicking on the do not call list, it's going to actually take you to step-by-step instructions on what you guys need to do to register to access that information. So there's going to be great information right in here that walks you through the process, so that if you are ready to go ahead and take a look, that can be something you guys do in your free time or in your free time. The other thing under office resources, or I guess now I can go ahead and click in there for you completely. So clicking on the office resources tab, now that we've talked about the advertising guidelines, concession requests, and do not call, click right on the office resources. It is also password protected. It's the same password that we just shared. So it's capital B, lowercase a, MC 350. And that's going to open up. I like to share this with you guys again because there's just some helpful information in here. The first thing that you're going to see, because I think everybody's North Carolina licensed in the room. So North Carolina license, this get forms button right here on the left hand side. If you click on that button, it's going to take you to a Google Drive folder that Sabre put together. All of these documents and forms in here, they are going to be firm specific. So these are not your state contracts and forms. Those are still available to you in DocuSign or through Canopy. But when you're talking about the specific forms for our office, we're talking about working with real estate agents. You guys might need a W-9 for us if you guys are working with a referral partner on something. Different things like that. There's also some cute little handouts, buyer walk-in to walk through, kind of highlighting your responsibilities. There's lot disclosures. We've got different things on our disclosures with different companies about our partnerships with them. We also have information on septic and sewer in here. So anything like that that is firm specific that we're looking for, this is where you guys will find that information unless you choose to then go like upload it to your DocuSign so it populates automatically. So what I tell you guys as a general rule of thumb is between this and your DocuSign, you should have access to everything. If you start out in DocuSign, you're realizing you're missing something, always check this Google Drive folder and vice versa. If you start in the Google Drive, go to DocuSign if you're missing something, and usually you'll have everything covered. So there's going to actually be a working with real estate agents in here. Yep. So that's going to be in there for buyers and sellers. And then the W-9 will be more for referrals. So if you were referring something out, they usually need to know like the firm's information so that they can wire some of that commission or mail some of that commission over to us. And that helps them out for tax purposes later on. But yes, tons of KWB specific information right here in that form folder. And again, always being updated and looked at by Sabra. If you guys ever become South Carolina licensed, the exact same forms for South Carolina are available on the right hand side in their own Google Drive folder. And then in the middle here, get checklist. This is going to just be a folder full of, you guessed it, it's checklists. Essentially, Sabra again knows that going into those first few deals, it's not muscle memory. It can be stressful, and not because it's really that difficult. I think we just kind of psych ourselves out sometimes. So these checklists are here to give you that added bit of confidence. She's literally highlighting, no matter North or South Carolina, buy or sell side, she has highlighted your step-by-step responsibilities, no matter what side you are representing and in which state. So this way you know exactly what you need to do, exactly what time that needs to be done by, and it really keeps all of that right in front of you. So it's easy to follow along. Make sure you've got all your ducks in a row, nothing was missed. So again, when those first few transactions just don't quite feel like muscle memory, this may be something you want to have available to you because it just makes you that much more confident that you've done everything you needed to. So keep it in mind, guys. It's here to help you guys along, and she's got one for just about every transaction you could do. I'll take us back. We also partner with the CE shop. This might have been something you guys already knew. We partner with 2 different education sites. The CE shop, if you hit Find Classes, we have a dual branded website with them. The CE shop, we have a discount that fluctuates, okay? It's not always the same. Sometimes it's like a flash sale, 40% off one day. Sometimes it's just 20% off. But they do offer self-paced learning, and it's not just for North and South Carolina. You guys can actually stretch that to be so many different states. I mean, it's ridiculous. I think that's all 50. It's got to be. But they're covering almost every single state in the country. And you guys can utilize that if you're ever looking to expand your real estate knowledge and your education. So whether that is I'm doing pre-licensing to get a whole new license, or I'm doing my post-licensing or my CE, all of that can be done through CE Shop, and through our partnership, you guys have discounts that are available to you. The other thing I mentioned is if you guys are not sure if self-paced is like the route to take, because it's usually either like a huge hit or a huge miss. If you're not quite sure about self-paced, but you've always been curious, you actually have the opportunity to do a self-paced free trial for 1 week. And if you loved it, you guys can go ahead and plug in your credit card info and move forward with the course. If you hated it, you walk away, that you didn't pay a single penny, and there's no consequence to you. So if you are curious at all about exploring self-paced for you, this is a great way to do that. And then the last thing I like to share with you, and this is, I feel like this always makes me look actually crazy because I have to go all the way to the bottom, and like squint to try and read down here because it used to be up top, mind you, it used to be up top. Now I look psychotic because it's all the way at the bottom. But hot topics is going to be one of the things that we're going to show you today. I like to try and give you guys easy buttons like right out the gate. So social media marketing tends to be one of those like really, really great tools because it's free. You guys can do so much with it and really get a lot of leads from it. And it's kind of hard sometimes to come up with like content to share on social media. The things that I know for social media, and again, Jules and Leah are going to be your go-to marketing girls. What I've learned about social media marketing though is that there's 2 things that are super, super important. The first thing is that you guys are posting regularly. So it's like, if not every day, we're talking like a couple times, few times a week. We are trying to stay in front of our sphere and anybody else that may be navigating to our page with fresh content. The other thing that is important is making sure you guys are diversifying the content you're sharing. Don't just share the same old every single time, or eventually Facebook will like algorithmically say like nobody cares and then just move on. So what we want to see is new content. We want to see it regularly posted, and that can be like, it sounds not that complicated, and then you go to do it and you're like, ooh, I don't know actually. So if that's ever true for you, an easy button that I love to share is this hot topic section. There's an entire library here of books, ebooks, blogs, podcast videos that you guys can navigate to. You can take some benefit personally as the agent. There's going to be stuff about the market that's informational that you can take enjoyment out of. But there's also stuff that you can just share to your social media. Literally copy that link, throw it on your social media, and that was boom, your post is done for the day. So it just makes it a little bit easier for you guys to keep on top of social media, especially when you're like, okay, it's Friday. Like, what do I talk about on Friday? Nobody's probably looking at my Facebook. So this way you guys can again look at some of this. Some of it's going to be more informational. Some of it's more like lighthearted. I know every Halloween they always do like a trying to sell a haunted house. And there's also a cute one that they've done where it's like DIY did I do this? So it's just like a whole cute story about fails for people. So it's fun. And I do encourage you guys again, just know it's available. If you ever feel like you're struggling with the social media content, this will be a great tool to rely on. But I will take us back. So that was the CE shop. Valentine floor plan. I probably would never click on that if I were you guys. I happen to know what the floor plan looks like, so that does put me in an unfair advantage. And I don't think many agents tend to use that, so it's there if you need it, but you probably won't. And then towards the bottom, we also have numbers to know. So these are going to be some numbers that you've already seen. Our market center numbers over here on the left, for example. You'll also see we've got like Wi-Fi info. So some of the stuff you're already familiar with. There also are going to be some numbers in here that you might not already know. So when you're doing that referral with somebody, they're going to ask you for our federal tax ID. That's where you can find that information if not already on the W-9. There's also going to be, if you guys go to get that South Carolina license, you're filling out your application and they ask you for our firm license number. You guys can find info like that here as well. So just some numbers you might not be using as frequently. So in that event, you might not know them top of mind. So do reference this section here at the bottom of Office Resources. There's tons of that info there. And then the rest of this, truthfully, we have kind of covered. It's just highlighting it in a different spot on the website. Under more, though, ALC meeting minutes, if you ever miss those bigger meetings that they're doing every single month, you guys can refer back. They track their minutes. So you can still see what they talked about. You can still hear some of those conversations. You can just read about it later, especially since those ones are not what is recorded and added to the YouTube channel. The prayer request form is always more of a talking piece than anything for me. And that's just to reiterate that you guys very sincerely are considered family to us from the moment you walked in the door. And we always want to be aware of what's going on in your world. So if there's ever anything serious going on that we can do a better job of helping to support you, please let us know because that's so important to us. Whether it's just like patting, like coming in, checking in, like, hey, how are things? Giving you a hug in the hallway, or maybe even coming back to that KW Cares conversation. Just let us know what we can do to support you guys because that means everything to us. So keep us in mind as much as you're comfortable sharing. I want to know. So let me know what I can do for you. KW perks, that's related to insurance. So for those of us who maybe don't have insurance right now because we are officially independent contractors, or maybe you're going to get to that place at some point here shortly, KW perks, Keller Williams partnered with Capstone Financial at one point. Think they're with Kaplan now, or it might be flipped. They partnered with somebody else though that allows you guys to search the insurance marketplace and find things at a discounted rate. So even if you have insurance right now, it might be worth plugging in your info. Maybe there's something better out there. So keep that in mind. You guys can explore and figure out if there's a really good option or plan out there that you might want to switch to or just engage in total, because that's going to be a helpful tool for us now that we don't get insurance through our employer. Sorry. Um, as we go a little bit further, we talked about scheduling a conference room. KWB firm exclusive listings. This will eventually, I believe, become obsolete as Command continues to develop a little bit further. But for the time being, one of the unique things about Keller Williams Valentine and some other brokerages as well is that when we have agents that are taking listings, sometimes what they do instead of putting it in MLS and putting it live right away is they'll actually put it firm exclusive, meaning that they only are offering it to your eyes right now for a period of time. So I know like Adam Sellers actually told me the other day he did it firm exclusive, I think for like a week or two, just to see if anybody in the office wanted to work with him or had a buyer interested. And then he switched it to live after that. So it's something to consider. The reason I like to share it with you guys today is because on the off chance you're going through MLS and you're searching the criteria for your client and you're like, there is nothing. It might be worth going back and checking the firm exclusive listings because with them being firm exclusive, they're not an MLS. And it might be that there's something already out there. We just don't see it, but it's helpful to you and your clients. So keep it in mind. As people submit paperwork for those firm exclusive listings, Saber's updating that, and it is a live Google Doc. So you'll see those changes in real time. Strategic vendor partners, we talked about our vendor program, but just to share, if you click on that button where it said strategic vendor partners, it takes you to our vendor spreadsheet. So say, oh crap, I don't use Facebook, or nope, forgot to add myself to that Facebook group. That's okay. It doesn't mean that you guys are out of luck. There is still plenty of opportunity for you to find our vendors in our program. This spreadsheet here tracks everybody by their industry. So you can actually see them organized neatly. It's easy for you to pull quotes for everybody. And it's really great too because you guys have direct contacts within that company to reach out to. You have their direct contact information. And if you scroll to the right, you can even see if they've got a website or any services that are associated with them. The other thing I always mention is you'll see here under electrician, for example, we only have New Blue right now. That doesn't mean that we hate electricians, I swear. It means that we just have currently one gentleman in the program that does that service. So, what I always say as part of this conversation is if you guys already have vendors that you know and love that you've used for real estate, that you've just used personally, maybe great family friends that offer a really, really great service or product, let us know because we are always looking to make sure that this vendor program is amazing. We want it to be super easy for you guys to connect with really great people. So as you find out or make these connections and you're like, oh my gosh, this would be such a win-win, they would get to plug into 550 agents in the office anytime. They'd get access to all their information. Just think about those possibilities. It's a very simple connection for you guys to make, and you don't really have to know much about our vendor program to do it. All you have to do is connect this vendor that you'd like to introduce to our program with Kyrie Smith on an email. And if you make that connection, Kyrie will then do all the legwork where he will step in and tell them all about the program, offer to meet with them here in the office, and really give them a tour and kind of walk them through the benefits of the program. If they then decide that they'd like to move forward, we add them to they make their payment, we add them to the roster, and then they're there permanently and available as a resource to other agents. But again, that connection's so easy. All you have to do is connect them with Kyrie Smith in an email, and Kyrie has a bunch of business cards at the front desk, so it's even easier. And then again, another live Google Sheet as well. So anytime we're making changes, you see that in real time. And then we also come across Outfront Magazine here. Again, very similar to that Hot Topic section, guys. If we're looking for another easy button for social media specifically, Outfront Magazine does a monthly publishment and they literally outline the calendar for the month. And they're like, hey, Monday you would post this, Tuesday you post that, Wednesday. So again, you don't have to rely on it completely and do the verbatim suggestions that they've outlined for the whole month. But if at any point in time you are kind of sitting there like, eesh, I don't really know what I want to share today. Outfront Magazine has your back, just like that Hot Topic section did as well. And that's the second one from the bottom here on this particular drop down. The last thing we are seeing in this drop down menu, guys, is the discount codes for real estate education, which we already talked about our CE one and how that fluctuates. Also, as a little hint to you guys, anytime that CE Shop is doing a flash sale just for one day only, I'm always given that information ahead of time because I'm connected with Barbara, who works with the CE Shop. So anytime we have a flash one day sale, I am taking that information with the code and everything, and I post it to our private Facebook group at 8 o'clock in the morning. So you have all day to take advantage of that code and use it to your advantage. But with CE Shop, like I said, it's a fluctuating code. This Superior School of Real Estate is another school that we partner with, and that's in person or online trainings that are live. In Superior, through our partnership with them, you have 30% off as across the board all the time. So that can be something that you guys are using to take advantage of for post licensing. It can be something you use for CE moving forward. But the really cool thing about both CE Shop and the Superior is you guys can also share this information with other people. It does not have to be somebody that's in this office taking advantage of it. So if there's somebody that you know that lives down the street and they're thinking about real estate and you just want to make them smile, make their start to real estate really, really positive, share this link with them or one of those links with them and give them the opportunity to just get started in real estate for less money. It's a really, really great way to treat somebody, and it also opens the door for future conversation. So if you guys are using or looking to build that downline, that kind of got you guys a really good relationship to start, and now you have the opportunity to share more with them moving forward and keep track of their real estate journey, which is cool. So again, this is for you guys to use 30% off through Superior all the time across the board. CE Shop fluctuates. I've seen it as low as 20, as high as 50. So keep that in mind. Both of those resources are for you and for anyone you'd like to share it with. And for those that are outside of this firm that choose to use that, there is no obligation for them to join KW Valentine. I always want to make sure people know that too. So share away. They don't have to join us because they used it. Although hopefully they really like us. I don't know. Um, and so that covers everything that we were going to talk about today on this site. The last thing I always mention in this one, I did talk about you with you guys already, is the I Need Tech Help button. So you know Jules and Leah are here to support you. They offer really great trainings in the office twice a week. And they also go one step further and they encourage and invite you to meet with them 30 minutes at a time for free, where you guys can have a one-on-one conversation specific to your business. And the really cool thing about Jules and Leah is they grow with you. So whether you are asking them to share with you how to do something for you to then be the one who's physically making all that happen, that can be a free thing for you to arrange with them. And when your business is officially booming and you just don't quite have the same time anymore to dedicate to social media or to your print marketing, you can actually leverage through Jules and Leah as well, because they offer concierge marketing services. So no matter where you're at in real estate, they are here to support you guys and are happy to do so. And I'm pretty sure, hopefully, you guys have met them. And if you haven't, I almost can guarantee that you will love them so much because they're just really fun and nice, that you'll want to hang out with them anyways. But this is super easy. You'll find their availability on the calendar, decide what works best for you, say boop, that's it. And then you guys tell them who you are. You can meet face to face or you can meet through Zoom. And then you can tell them everything you want to chat about in that meeting. So they prepare ahead of time. No time is wasted. You make the most of your half hour together. But that's the last thing I always point out. For simplicity, for that Facebook page, if you guys haven't joined the main Facebook of just us as leadership and you guys as agents, this little F icon right here will take you to our Facebook page where you can request to join. So that's an easy way to do that. But that covers just about everything I tend to share on the page. And I would love to take any questions that maybe we have and did not get a chance to answer. And I'll kind of open that up for you guys. There is one other thing that I usually would try to show to you. It's only like 5 minutes. And because it's Friday, go be free, enjoy your weekend. I'm just gonna email it to you as a little tiny recording, and that way you guys can watch it anytime. Especially because we went a little over, so I apologize, but I thank you all for staying with me. But before we move forward, any questions at this point in time? We feel good, feel good, feel good. Okay. And then Felicia, if you have a question, feel free to talk over me in just a moment here. But knowing that you guys feel good means everything to me. I'm hopeful that this was a great piece of information that kind of did showcase some new stuff to you and reminded you of some of the important things. What I always encourage is my best recommendation to retain this information over the weekend. Go back on your laptop, see if you can kind of just walk yourself back through what we did. If not, you do know there will be a recording of today's class that I will upload to YouTube. My favorite thing to always tell you is I talk so fast and I can't control it. Unfortunately, I have tried. So because I talk fast, when you go to the YouTube channel recording, you can slow me down and then it makes it way easier. So if that is true for you, I am so sorry. I really do try not to talk fast. It's just who I am. And you'll have an opportunity to catch that information and kind of pace through it a little easier if that's true. But that's really everything. So thank you guys for sitting with me. I hope this was helpful. And we are so excited again to have you as part of the family. I thank you for being in the room with me, and I hope you all have a great weekend. Let me know if questions come up moving forward, because I am more than happy to help walk you through any of it. Thank you guys.
Thank you. Have a good day.
You too.